I used to be an adventurer like you. Then I took an arrow in the knee.
I get a little extra excited every time I get to do an Easter egg video on the channel. Everybody loves a good video game Easter egg, but what are the best of the best? What are the Easter eggs that were so great, so iconic, so memorable that everybody remembers them? Well, that's what we're going to go over today. What's up, everybody? Chaos here. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the video. If you enjoy Easter eggs, make sure you drop a like and have those notifications on, because today we are going to be going over some of the best Easter eggs in first-person shooter history, not video game history. We're going to focus in on the best FPS Easter eggs. So you let me know in the comments which of these are your favorite, or if I missed one of your favorites, drop a like, and here we go. I see a ton of you are watching and enjoying the content on the channel, but you're not subscribed. Take a second, hit that sub button, turn on those notifications, and let's get the Team Chaos subscriber percentage up into the 30s. Let's start off with Master Chief in Destiny. Back when Destiny 1 was being hyped up, people were very eager to see what Bungie had in store for their first non-Halo game in over a decade. Since it was still set in a sci-fi universe, people were expecting at least one good Halo Easter egg, but nobody was expecting such an obvious one. By heading over to the Garden Spire on Mars, you can do a little walking around, and eventually you'll come across this large tower that is in the shape of Master Chief's helmet. It was actually a pretty awesome nod to Bungie's success with their other sci-fi fantasy epic, and if only Destiny 1 has been, if only it has been as good as the Halo trilogy, or was it? I don't know, you tell me. Next up is Bioshock in Far Cry 3. I love Easter egg FPS crossovers. Far Cry 3 had a ton of Easter eggs hidden in it, and I still think it's one of the best open world games of all time, by the way. It was released back in 2007, well, Bioshock was, and 5 years before Far Cry 3. And during that time, Bioshock grew and grew to become known as one of the best games of its time. It did. So naturally, Ubisoft wanted to pay tribute. In Far Cry 3, they put in a sneaky little reference during the mission Prototype Labs. Now you'll be walking around this creepy laboratory, and at one point before flipping a switch, Jason would say, "Would you kindly activate?" which is an obvious reference to the main villain's catchphrase in Bioshock. Next up is Dark Souls in Borderlands 2. Now, Dark Souls was a huge influence on gaming in the 2010s, and you can find references to it in countless other games. But you know what else has a big influence in the 2010s when it comes to video games? Borderlands. So it seemed natural that these two franchises would come together in one way or another. And if you head over to the Caustic Caverns in Borderlands 2, you can make your way to the furthest northeast section of the map and eventually find this little patch of ground with a tree growing out of the middle of it with a pool of acid. Now, it's not going to be easy, but if you can make your way across the acid to the patch of land, you'll find the character Solitaire and his ghost hanging out by the bonfire with a sword coming out of it, which you can actually sit around while your health restores. It's an obvious reference to the bonfire checkpoint system in Dark Souls. Wouldn't be a video without a Terminator 2 Easter egg. This one is in Doom Eternal. Now, Doom Eternal is an excellent first-person shooter from earlier this year. But if there's one thing we all know about developers ID Software, is that they love jam-packing their games with Easter eggs. And one of my favorites is the one that had the reference to Terminator 2, one of the best sci-fi movies ever made. There's plenty of sections in the game where the levels are surrounded by lava, and it will give you a little burn if you stand in it. However, if you hold your position and actually die to the lava burns, there's a chance you will sink into the lava, and the last thing to disappear will be Doom Guy's arms giving you the thumbs up, which is a direct reference to the iconic ending of Terminator 2. This Easter egg was also in Doom 2016, but I like it a bit more in Eternal since it's a bit more obvious. And also, it's kind of funny how Doom Guy just stands in the lava for 10 seconds before he suddenly dies. Sticking with the Doom theme, the Doom shotgun in Battlefield 1. As many of you know, Battlefield has secret gun animations that will sometimes play when you reload, and they're extremely rare. But almost every gun in Battlefield has a unique bonus reload animation that only plays every few hundred reloads. However, there was a very clever one in Battlefield 1 that paid tribute to Doom, the grandfather of first-person shooters. When using the double-barrel shotgun, there's a chance your reload will suddenly turn into one of the super shotguns in the OG Doom, complete with the super low frame rate that makes it look like a PowerPoint. And if you listen carefully, you can even hear a little demon growl in the background after the animation finishes. It's an awesome Easter egg, and it probably confused the crap out of people when they first saw it. At number 10, TF2 in Valorant. Now, Team Fortress 2 is one of the most influential multiplayer shooters of all time, and it's been a constant source of reference in other FPS titles. Not too long ago, Valorant was released to great reception. It's not as big as it once was, it's still popular, and since it was made by Riot Games, it's full of Easter eggs. When you're playing a defense on the map Haven, you can go up to the popular tower known in the community as Heaven and take a look in the corner for a pretty obvious TF2 reference. You will see a large case with a sniper rifle in it as well as a little jar of something yellow. Now, if you know your TF2 lore at all, you'll know this is the sniper's jar of Gerate. And if you don't know what it is, well, Google it. At number 9, Pennywise in Far Cry 5. Now, Far Cry 5 was a really good open world game, one of the best in the entire series, and naturally, with a map of this size, there's plenty of Easter eggs, and since this game came out right around the It remakes, if you know what It is, Stephen King, Pennywise, it shouldn't surprise anybody that Ubisoft snuck in a pretty creepy Easter egg. There's a sewer that runs underneath a good portion of the map, and it lets out between Falls End and the Lamb of God Church, but if you go visit that part of the map, you'll see a red balloon eerily just hovering by the sewer. And thankfully, Pennywise won't actually kill you for looking at it this time. At number 8, the Teddies in Call of Duty. Now, the teddy bear is an ongoing Easter egg that has appeared in over a dozen Call of Duty games. The first teddy bear was in Call of Duty United Offensive all the way back in 2004, and since then, they've popped up in almost every new Call of Duty game. Sometimes they're in plain sight, sometimes they're well hidden, but whenever a new Call of Duty game comes out, one of the first Easter eggs to be discovered is a teddy bear. Now, there's a few explanations as to why the teddies pop up in Call of Duty in the first place, and it seems like the developers like to keep it quiet for the sake of fan theories, but according to an old-school Infinity Ward developer, the first hidden teddy was added just as a joke to see if anybody would find it, but then after the studio saw how many fan theories were sprouting up with such a simple Easter egg, they couldn't resist adding them to all their future games. That's it. No secret theory, no weird history. It was just a random Easter egg they threw in the old game. They saw people liked it, so they kept hiding it in future games. At number 7, the Big Octopus in Rainbow Six Siege. And this is one I don't understand, but I love it. Now, Rainbow Six is a pretty serious game. There's no room for goofing around. But every once in a while, I'll find this weird Easter egg on this one. I mean, it's weird. On the house map, if you go up to the kids' room on the second floor, you'll find 2 stuffed octopuses, or is it octopi? I don't know. One of them is totally normal, but if you go over to the one on the ship, it's actually double the size when you melee it. Now, I have no idea why this happens. Nobody gets it, but that's what makes it cool. Could you imagine how confused people were when they first discovered this, and whose idea over at Ubisoft was it to even add it? I have a lot of questions. At number 6, and this is an old school Easter egg. The Princess Bride in Overwatch.
You seem nice. I hate to kill you.
Now, Overwatch is full of Easter eggs, and I honestly think there are too many to count in this game. After all, it's made by Blizzard, and they're constantly adding new emotes and voice lines, most of which end up being references to pop culture. It was really hard to pick a favorite here, but going through all the voice lines in the game, I have to say I love Genji's line, "You seem nice, I hate to kill you." Now, for all the uncultured in the audience here, this is a direct reference to a scene in the legendary movie The Princess Bride in which 2 of the main characters have a heartfelt conversation before engaging in a sword fight, and before the fight begins, Inigo Montoya utters, "You seem a decent fellow. I hate to kill you," which Blizzard slightly tweaked into a voice line for Genji. And if you still haven't seen The Princess Bride, shame on you. Go fix that, and then you'll understand the Easter egg. At number 5, Devil Walker in PUBG. If you've played PUBG a lot, you're probably going to come across this graffiti at least once on the map, Erangel. Now, you probably don't think anything of it, and you wrote it off as stock graffiti to give the map a little more character, but if you know what's going on, there's actually history. As you know, the concept of PUBG started out as a mod for DayZ. The mod was created by a gamer named Brendan Green, who sent the screen name in Player Unknown. Now, Green was able to tweak the game rules to create one of the first Battle Royale games of all time, and then eventually he was able to get custom servers for it so other people could experience as well. But, you know what got him his first custom server for the mode? Another DayZ player who went by the screen name Devil Walker. Now, if Devil Walker hadn't gotten Green his custom server, the Battle Royale mod likely wouldn't have gotten the attention it did, and it wouldn't have led us to where we are today. So as a showing of respect, Devil Walker has been immortalized within PUBG. At number 4, Nessie Plushies in Apex Legends. Now, it didn't take long after Apex released for people to start stumbling upon these random Loch Ness Monster plushies around the map. When the game first came out, there were 10 Nessie plushies hidden around the map, and if you managed to find them in a certain order, you could actually summon a giant Nessie to come out of the ocean. What's so interesting about this Easter egg is that Nessie doesn't actually have an official role in the Titanfall or the Apex Legends canon. It's said that Watson left all the plushies around the map when she was a child, but that wouldn't explain the giant one that comes out of the ocean. So maybe one day, Respawn will explain this Easter egg, but until then, I guess we just get to let our imaginations run wild. At number 3, Goose in CSGO. Now, CSGO is one of the biggest shooters in history, and it's pretty amazing to think about where it came from. The original Counter-Strike was a mod for Half-Life, released back in '99, and has since morphed into its own standalone franchise. Now, one of the most iconic maps in CSGO is Dust 2, a map design that has been around ever since the original game. But have you ever wondered why the word Goose is graffitied on one of the walls of Dust 2? Well, it's not just some random joke. It's actually paying tribute to one of the game's creators. The original Counter-Strike mod from '99 was designed by Jess Cliff and Men Gooseman Lee. Now, following the success of the mod, Gooseman was hired by Valve and then later left the company to help work on other extremely successful multiplayer games like Rust and Black Desert Online. His work lives on, though, as CSGO kept the Goose graffiti on Dust 2 throughout the years, and according to the official map callouts, this area of the map is even called Goose, which solidifies Gooseman's legacy. At number 2 today, Skyrim and Doom 2016. Skyrim is one of the best-selling and most influential games of the 21st century, and it has been the creator of plenty of memes, most notably the arrow to the knee, which was everywhere after the game came out. And you know what other game Bethesda released in the 21st century? Doom 2016. And you know ID Software wasn't going to miss an opportunity to reference one of their publisher's other properties. So when you're venturing around in hell, you'll eventually come to a cavern with some pillars and a skeleton, and you know the rest. And at number 1 today, Red vs. Blue in Halo 3. Now, Red vs. Blue is one of the most important web shows of all time. It not only got the Halo community involved with content creation, but it also showed what could be done in the world of machinima. So what better way for Bungie to pay homage to this awesome web series than bringing the characters into the game? During one of the early chapters of Halo 3's campaign, you can wander off the set patch just a little ways and find a Marine trying to get into a bunker but arguing with the guy on the other side of the door because he doesn't know the password. These two Marines are voiced by none other than Jeff Ramsey and Gus Sarolo, the creators of Red vs. Blue, who also voiced Griffin Simmons, respectively. It's such a great way to bring the community together and give back to the creators who helped blow up machinima in the first place. So if you ask me, this is the best FPS Easter egg of all time, no doubt in my mind. You let me know where you guys agree, where you disagree. Let me know an Easter egg that we didn't get on here. If you want to see the best Easter eggs in video games of all time, you let me know. We can make that happen as well.